natural.
Yeah.
Welcome to Padres Talking Padres. We got two Padres today. Jay has a family. It's a teacher meet something.
It's a Padre thing. Yeah.
It's a Padre thing. Yeah, when you're a Padre and you have Podettes, right?
Yeah.
What do you ever call them? You have to go to these things. You have to go to these events. So anyway, we're here after an exciting game today. I'm telling you, man. It's funny. I forgot all about it being a day game.
Yeah.
And I went on Twitter and someone said, "All right, Fernando." I go, "Oh, do you hit a home run?" I go, "Oh, wait, the game is on." And I looked. I go, "Oh, 1-1. That's not bad."
Yeah.
And it was all downhill from
there. Yeah.
So
it. I don't know. It's consistent with the inconsistency of our offense this year. It's a little bit of a struggle to watch sometimes. I'm just being honest. You get a couple of hits and you get excited, and then it dies, and get a couple of hits and it dies, and then you don't see hits for another 4 innings. And
yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, it's just like
this whole 5 hits, 6 hit stuff just doesn't bode well. It really doesn't.
It's another guy with a high ERA coming into the game, and it's like going, we didn't even have an earned run today. It was an unearned run. I'm like going, I just don't get this team. And I know a lot of people I've argued with, but I've debated because people hate the bunt. Yeah. And I'm like going, if that's the way you get on, that's the way you get on. When you're struggling to score, you get on any way you can. You walk, you take it like I said with Arise when he was running first and second, and the pitch was just a slow curveball. I go, I'll take one for the team, because then you have Manny coming up next. Would have been bases loaded. Who knows what would have happened? And then he hits a weak grounder to the pitcher. It's like, God, just take.
Yeah, but yesterday, he bunted for the loaded bases.
So. I know, but I'm just saying I'm not blaming just him. I'm just saying that the whole team, because Cronenworth he's become the Craig Biggio of the Padres. Yeah. He gets hit on the elbow pad a lot, and I know he's doing it intentionally, which is fine with me.
Well, the problem is like I said, the inconsistency is just all over the place and everything. And I, like you, follow Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And, this, but I just get tired of the rise in the 2-hole. So I did a little investigation, and I posted it and not only that Tatis is ill-fitted for the leadoff and all that. So I went like the last 12 games before today, although I will say between those two and Manny, they had 4 of the 6 hits. So I don't think a whole lot changed. But Tatis in the last 12 games is batting .298 with a .378 on-base average, has scored 10 runs and stole 3 bases. Arise in the last 12 games is hitting .325 with a .386 OBA and 2 stolen bases. So,
well, if you want to go further, I looked it up too. Arise for the month of September is hitting .339, 7 RBIs with 6 Ks, which is unusual for him. 4 base on balls, 6 runs scored, and 1 homer. O'Hearn, who I'm calling. I mean, he just hasn't done it. I mean, what can you say? 40 games, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 35 strikeouts. Now he plays a decent first base defensively, but it's like
not enough worth what he's doing, and he knows it too. And look, I'm not gonna do the reverse Arise on everybody either. Like, the O'Hearn, let's get him out of the line. You know what? Guys got to find themselves. And I was talking to a buddy today, and he he says, 2 things. Number one, kind of conceded ourselves to that we're the number 5 seed. We're going to go to Chicago. I mean, there's always the outside possibility, past the Dodgers, but with 10 games left. Now 9, at 10 when we were talking. I was like, I always do the 500 rule that says if the Dodgers were to be 500, we'd have to finish 8-2 to pass them. That's just at 500. So, you start to get kind of realistic. It's because it's the same math for the Mets to pass us. It's the same exact math. So you kind of get the feeling that we're in the 5 seed and we're going to go to Chicago. And his other comment would really kind of ring true to me. It's like, but I'd like to see them peaking. I'd like to see this next 9 games. I'd like to see them starting to play the way that us Padre fans have seen them play when they're in a good string here. So, I think, look, we're going to Chicago, then we got to play Milwaukee, which is going to be tough. And then, my hope is, number one, we've already got it clinched by then. We don't need the pressure of having to play the last 3 games against Arizona to get in the playoffs.
No, those should just be whatever.
Yeah, and it gives us a chance to be able to set ourselves up. You put Kyle Hart out there, you put Sears out there, you let these guys get fully rested and go into the playoffs, without having to bear down. It should be very possible. Before today, if they would have won today, tomorrow, and Saturday, they could have clinched with, I think it was the Mets or San Francisco or Diamondbacks losing. As it is, we still got a pretty decent chance of getting it done, either by the end of the weekend or the first of next week. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying sit O'Hearn, because you need power, and somehow if he can find himself in the next 2 weeks, great. It's almost like I said, the title of this was, "Will King be ready for the playoffs?"
Yeah.
Jennifer says, "Stop bunting when it's not situational." I kind of disagree.
I totally disagree.
Yeah, Jennifer, you got to get on base. You got to get on base, and if they're not
hitting, done well with it. They've had an extraordinary amount of bunt hits this year, and Mike Schilt has given them the green light. And says, "Hey, whatever you got to do, get on."
Yeah, I mean, people hate the bunt. I get it, but this team struggles to get people on base. They just do. They go. There was a reason why they went 0 for 20. We keep going back to that 0 for 24 last year against the Dodgers. Yeah. They just get in a rut and they can't do anything. And it's frustrating. And they don't have a lot of power on the team, even though they had 3 homers yesterday.
Yeah.
Which it was it yesterday or the day
before? Unusual.
Oh, day before, I think it was.
Which is unusual. I mean, they just, like you said, and that's fine if that's the time. I mean, look, we can't even debate the fact that they don't have home run power, because they've been next to last and last all year long. So, this is not a home run hitting team. And this is a moving around team. And, this is the same thing that we were congratulating them, patting them on the back last year, because they were moving runners, the Petco wave hitting, everybody's buying in, the fans are all happy. Yeah, this is us. Well, bottom line is we're just not hitting enough this year.
Right.
The batting average is down. We're not moving runners all the time. And so, if you can't hit to the other side, which you got guys like Laureano and Iglesias are really good at it. They're really good about hitting behind the runner.
Right.
But they're not up all the time. And, we need to quit striking out as much, which is kind of concerning, because that's what kills innings. So,
well, we're not a power team either. So why are we striking out? You expect a guy like, power hitters traditionally strike.
I expect Manny to strike out.
Yeah, I mean, I
really do. I expect him to strike out. I expect Fernando to strike out, because they're power hitters, and sometimes that means you have to take the bigger swing, and I'm fine with that. I really am. It comes with the territory. But if you're not hitting home runs and you're not a power hitter and you're striking out, well, that causes a problem, especially with this team. So,
but with bunting too, it also wreaks havoc with the defense. Because you go, okay, oh crap, they're bunting. I got to play up closer. Well, maybe I can. Maybe I don't bunt. I bounce it over their head. Yeah. You got to get in the heads of when you're doing the same thing: fly ball, ground ball to the pitcher, ground ball shortstop, ground ball second baseman, fly out. When you're just the defense doesn't have to worry about anything. You get a guy on base and they're stealing bases. I mean, look at today when Hart was so worried about him stealing third. He kept throwing back. Only can do it twice, but he was definitely worried about him stealing third. I think that plays in the defense. You want the defense thinking more than just one thing. Yeah. And I think if you bunt, oh crap, and we had that one game where we had 3 bunts in an inning.
Well, you're drawing in the infield anytime there's a threat of bunt and everything. And then that's not a bad thing, because especially if you're going to poke it past somebody and all that. But again, the bottom line is to me, we're having a little bit of unluckiness. I was listening to Jesse Agler on the radio as I was driving around today, so I didn't get to see a lot of the game. But there was one inning specifically. He just said, Jimmy Christmas, man, they're hitting them right at him. I mean, they're, one hopper and, the line drive to the outfielder. And so, you sometimes get that unluckiness. And I think this team's pressing a little bit. They want to get it done. If they were to be honest, which I know they can't be, but they're be honest, they're thinking like us. It's like, we're going to Chicago. Okay, so we're going to Chicago, but they want to get it done with. And, Manny said it in an interview with, I think it was AC or one of the guys that covers the Padres. It's like, we had our opportunity. We had we just didn't take advantage of it.
Of catching the Dodgers.
Yeah, and he's right. It's like, man, they opened the door wide open, and unfortunately, we were going through the same struggles the Dodgers were going through. So,
and to be honest with you, at the trade deadline, the way I thought, okay, scoring runs is going to be the least of our problems. Every now and then you're going to have a game where you can't score,
right?
But this team goes through stretches where it's just like, come on, and again. It's hard to watch. I mean, it's like, okay, watch.
We haven't had, and I'm going through. So we had a 5-game winning streak from August 19th to August 23rd, and we had one before that from August 9th to August 13th. So there was 2 stretches. Unfortunately, we lost the 3-game series to the Dodgers and then one to San Francisco. But still, we had 2 5-game winning streaks, and you're thinking, okay, this team is now capable of putting those together. Since that time, we've won more than 1 game in a row twice. It's just the inconsistencies is just brutal. We had a 1 3-game winning streak and 1 2-game winning streak. We literally win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. So point the finger back at the mirror or what do you want to call it. We've had opportunities, or the Padres have had opportunities, and just haven't been able to get that consistency they need.
Well, what's hurting us too is the starting pitching. I mean, King the other day gives up 8 runs in 2.5 innings, 2 1/3 innings, whatever it was. You're already down 8 runs. You're like going, ugh. I mean, it's like, and that's why I put, will King be ready for the playoffs? Because if he's can't find it, you can't have him on the roster.
He's got 2 more starts, so I mean, you're right. I mean, it still comes down to starting pitching, and quite honestly, I can't blame Schilt. Either way, although I found it funny that he pulled King, but then he also pulled Vasquez today, and
I didn't get that.
I don't know what it is with Vasquez that
he has no confidence in him.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, he's in trouble, and it's 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and it's a 1-1 game. But man, he's in the 4th inning, and of course, then you pour gasoline on it. And I know Wandy Peralta's been really good lately, but man, I just happen to be watching, and I'm just like, oh man, I do not like. Oh, boom, there it goes.
Yeah. Well, Jay and I were texting each other on a separate thing today at that time, and he goes, "Would you have pulled before Peralta gave up the home run?" Yeah. I said, "I don't get it." I go, "Why are you going to waste your bullpen?" Let him go 5-6 innings. We're not hitting anyway. I didn't get that. And
especially it's like you texted me, or you on our Discord, and you said, it's times like this that you realize how much you miss Adam and Morgan, and it's that extra depth that allows you to go a little deep, a little sooner to your bullpen. Right now, I don't know if I'm Schilt, and I'm not, but if I'm Schilt, I'm starting to let starters go at least 5 innings. I just can't. I just don't want to burn up my bullpen.
Plus, Estrada either needs some rest, or he needs to go.
I think they all need rest.
I just think his confidence is just not there, and it hasn't been there for a while. And people are bagging
up some bombs, man.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, this anybody." I mean, people are saying we should release him. We should. I go, go, come on, people. He's in a slump.
Yeah.
People say the Dodgers broke him, which I could kind of see, but I go, when he's on, he's on. But like I said, right now he's not. So you basically have Morihone, you have Miller and Suarez as your top guys, and it's like. A month ago we had 6 guys in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And it just kind of
find it. I mean, every pitcher goes through a bad streak. I mean, look at Dylan Cease last year. The guy's money. The guy, ends up in the Cy Young voting, high up in the voting and everything. He goes to the playoffs and just absolutely blows up. It just happens, man. Sometimes you lose it, and it's at the wrong time.
Look at Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Famously blowing.
Congratulations to him retiring. Thank goodness for the Padres.
I think the way he's pitched, I think he can go another year. But he's got a Hall of Fame. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's another one of those. If he's not unanimous, then you wonder what people are looking at. But then again, that's the flaw of the Hall of Fame voting. I won't get into. But the bottom line is, there's a lot of guys that should have gone in unanimously, but they don't. But
Tony Gwynn. Babe Ruth.
There's so many.
Gehrig.
There really is. I mean, come on, Hank Aaron. Yeah, I mean, come on. These guys.
Well, no one was unanimous until, is it Derek Jeter?
No, it was Mariano Rivera.
Mariano Rivera, yeah. And I'm like,
which I'm not going to knock Mariano. He should have, but to be the only one, one, yeah.
Come on.
That's the off season though.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have a Hall of Fame complaint in the off season.
Yeah.
But I did read that Bogaerts, they're saying he could come back on the 22nd of September.
Yeah, I think if it, that I've heard the same thing, and I think if I'm the Padres, just let him come back on Monday at home. I just don't think that you need to press it. You basically, your magic number I think is 5 or something like that. So you're not really pressing it at all.
Jennifer says, I mentioned the bunting because to me it cheapens the game. It was respected by others, hitters. Everyone would be doing it all day, but your manager encourages it. Oh, well, to me, your job is to win the game.
Your job is to get on
base, win the game. Again, it's like I said, I used to say when they had the exaggerated shift, I go, why aren't these guys just laying a bunt down the third baseline when the third baseman's playing it short? Right. And that's how you eliminate the shift. I mean, bunting, it used to be a major part of the game. Back when I was growing up watching baseball, it was a big part of the game. It was, stealing bases, moving runners. The home run wasn't that big a deal. I mean, there's also the dead ball era, and you had where the mound was higher and all the different stuff. So you had to move runners over. To me, I hear what you're saying, Jennifer, but I want to win a World Series. And if winning the World Series is bunting, I don't care. And I know a lot of people are against it. Maybe because I was a good bunter. I was able to bunt both right and left-handed. I don't know. But to me, if you can get on base, it changes the game. Plus, it makes the pitcher work harder.
Yeah, and I don't know. I definitely don't agree with the cheapens the game, because the bottom line is that's why you steal. That's why you hit and run. That's why you make defensive changes. That's all part of the strategy of baseball. Baseball was never meant to be a home run derby. It's I know there's some teams that kind of make you feel that way, but it's never been meant to be just a home run derby. It's meant to be moving runners around. It's meant to be fooling the opposition with the defensive alignment that you have, and that's why they have scouts looking for where to position players. I mean, to me, that's all about the strategy of baseball. It's why the game I love is baseball, because there are so many things that go into how you can win a game, and there is no one way to win a game. There's no composition of a team that's necessary for you to win a World Series. There's so many different ways. So
you look at the Dodgers last year. They won because of their bullpen.
Yeah,
that's how they won the World Series. Their bullpen. I mean,
at the right time.
Yeah. At the right time, their bullpen just got hot, and he's doing bullpen games.
Yeah. I mean, well, and they hit home runs too.
So. Well, they did too, but you talk about it was never really meant to be a home run game. When Babe Ruth set the home run, when he took over the home run crown,
14.
the guy behind him had 138. Yeah. The guy he beat took over. He took the lead with 139 home runs.
And I think the single season he went to 14 or something like that.
It was some.
Yeah.
And because I looked it up, and the guy before that had like 124. So the first leader of all-time home runs was 124. Next guy was 138, and then Babe Ruth had it for
course, that's also when they were using the equivalent of a cotton ball for a ball. So
yeah, exactly. But you look at Ty Cobb, and Ty Cobb would bunt, steal,
spike,
It just whatever it took to win the game. Again, I'm like, you could say cheapens the game when you have guys that put their arm out there, like Craig Biggio's in the Hall of Fame. He's had a good career, but he used to get hit all the time. He's up there like a suit of armor. And he's just to me, that cheapens the game. But if they're not going to call it, then do it. Like I said, would Cronenworth how many times has Cronenworth been hit this season? I don't have the number in front of me, but
I don't either. But
and it's usually off the elbow pad, and he's not
moving. Well, Barry Bonds was always the best. He had the pseudo armor. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that padded up, man. I mean, I don't know if there was a place where you could hit him where it would actually hit skin. So
people say, look how brave he is crowding the plate. I go, okay, where are you going to hit? Where's he going to get hurt?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, that's just a difference of opinion. Yeah. But going back to King, I guess, like I said, he has 2 more starts, right?
Yeah, and I have all the confidence in the world because the difference to me is just location. And whenever it's just location, I don't have a problem. When I start worrying about a pitcher is when their velocity goes down 3 or 4 miles an hour, or they can't break off a curveball or a sweeper or slider or whatever their specialty pitch is. I didn't see that. I mean, he even said, I feel fine. He says, it was just terrible location. Yeah, I watched that game, and, man, there was batting practice right down the middle. And,
he was over the heart of the plate.
Yeah, and you can't do that. I don't care how good you are. And I guess the thing, too, with him is that normally his fastball's got a good tail to it, and it just didn't look – it looked pretty straight. So
it was pretty flat.
So that might be a little bit of adrenaline too, him trying to get back into the the mood. Because
to be fair too, the Mets have a good hitting team.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Home run hitting teams, they look for fastballs, and so I'm not worried about him. Him and Darvish and Cease, I'd love to see them have a couple of good starts. But going back to the getting in the playoffs. The sooner we can wrap this up, the more that we can, let these guys kind of get some rest, let the bullpen get 100%. Lord knows we hopefully don't have to go all the way to like Saturday and Sunday to clinch this thing, to get in the books, because the playoffs start on Tuesday. So you get, if you have to play on Sunday, then Monday's your day off. And really love to see guys like Miller and Morihone and Estrada, specifically get some time off. Starters don't necessarily want time off. They like to kind of keep the rotation going, but going in. So I heard an interesting, one of discussions earlier this week, and we're not, for our people out there that are watching, we're not making the assumption. It's not like, oh, they're in. No, they gotta still do it. But based on what we think is going to happen, let's just, for sake of argument, they're in, and they're going to Chicago. The question is who do you want to pitch the 3 games, and in what order? And who do you leave off of the?
Well, is it best of 5 or is it best of
3? All 3 at
best 3 games. Well, if you win the first 2, it's over.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So therein lies, and I'll kind of set it up for you, Jack. I got my own opinion, but I'd like to hear yours first. So that to win, you have to win 2 of them. And so the question is, who do you want to go out first? What's a worry about your bullpen? What if you need a game 3 from somebody? And if you're not going to use one of your starters, who do you leave off of the roster, knowing that if you have to go 3, you're not going to be able to use any of those 3 for the next series? Go
ahead. Let's see. It depends on King. If King can have the next 2 games where he's King of old, where he goes 6 innings with 9 Ks and 2 runs, then I start King. Mm-hmm. I start King, and my second choice would be Pivetta. Okay. Hoping that you could wrap it up in 2 games and not have to use Cease. That would be in fact, to be honest with you, I might put Darvish number 3 and I've said it before, I put Cease in the bullpen and have him pitch 2 or 3 innings out of the bullpen for a game, because I think, you never know.
Well, that using all 3 of those, you now have a game 1 starter of.
How much time we have in between?
1 game or 1 day.
1 day, okay.
None of those the three starters, if you go the three starters, you're not going to be able to pitch one of them for the first game of the next series.
And the next series against Brewers, right?
It depends on, the seeding, but because it depends on, like, if it's right now as it sits, it would be the Dodgers versus the Mets and the Padres versus the Cubs. So depending on who comes out, if it's the Dodgers, then we would play
the Brewers.
But if the Mets upset the Brewers, then we would play the Phillies.
Oh, jeez.
As it sits. Yeah.
Well, so that's like, okay, who do you want to play? The good team or the really good team? I would probably hope that we'd win it in 2, and then you could have Darvish go the first game and Cease the second, and then have King with the third. That's just me.
So I'm a little different here.
But again, it depends on King. If King can't do it, that changes everything around.
Well, I'm depending on King being King. But one of the interesting things I heard was that, much like you said, that King should start, and because he's not built up, maybe he only goes 5, and you have your whole available bullpen that you can use, knowing that tomorrow you've got Pivetta, who seems to have a better chance of going 7, 8 innings in a kind of jam like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the other way around. I'd kind of like to see Pivetta go out there and set the table, because I think he is our best pitcher as it stands right now. Maybe, another year, another time. But right now, I'd rather use him because I want game 1. I don't want to take a chance on going out there and possibly losing game 1. And if I win with Pivetta, I'm going with Darvish second, because I got no problem with King being the guy with all hands on deck if we need him for game 3. And I also have no problem with King being the guy if we need a game 1 starter. You brought up an interesting point, but I don't know if I'd ever would have said this before, but I'd have to go to Cease and say, you're my number 1 game 1 starter of the next series, but I'm not using you this series because I need all the regular relieving arms I can get on here. And that just almost sounds like sacrilege, but that's a tough one, because if you're not, the premise being, if you're not going to use him, if your intention is not to use him in the bullpen, then you got to leave him off the roster so you can, you can have more guys like a Reynolds or whoever it might be, Jacob, any of those guys. Because I think you do need basically 3 starters on your roster and 9 or 10 relievers. And I tell Vasquez and Cease, be ready on the next series, because there's a possibility, if we get there. And I think that's just an honest conversation. It's like, look, I'm not going to use you as a starter this series. So that's the way it's got to go. Now, the only danger of that is if King goes out there, God forbid, blows his arm out in the first inning, and now you're like, oh crap, if I had Cease, at least I could put him in there and let him go 5 or 6 innings, kind of thing.
Well, that's why I would put Cease would be my bullpen guy, and I would only use him if I had to. Now, it's like, say we win the first game, and the second game Darvish goes 6 innings and we got a 3-run lead. Well, I would bring maybe Cease in for depending on how.
I don't like bringing guys who haven't done it before.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but to me, it depends. Well, it depends on the first game. If the pitcher goes, say it's Pivetta, he goes 5 innings, and we got to use Estrada, Miller, Suarez, and Morihone. Well, how many pitches? It all comes to it's all. How many pitches did they pitch?
Oh, sure.
9 pitches. They pitched 20 pitches.
But that's why I think that's the reason I think that Pivetta should be the first game starter, because for the most part of all of our pitchers this year, by far he has pitched deeper into more games than anybody.
His location was off yesterday too. He had a lot of 3-2 counts.
But he's built up. He's a guy that I wouldn't have no problem, and they've done it this year, of putting out there for 100 pitches. Like, if he's going, you just let him, ride him as far as he can go. He's your game 2 pitcher if you go to the next series, and that's not a big deal. I mean, I'm fine with that, kind of thing. Anyway,
and the Cubs lost.
Hopefully we'll get the chance to set up our pitching.
And the Cubs lost their closer. Yeah. I know because he's on my fantasy team. And so it's another reliever down the drain. And their starters, I don't think their starters have been electric. I don't think they have not like the Brewers and the Dodgers.
Emanaga's got our number, so
that's true.
We're gonna have to beat him. They got a couple of young guys over there.
Yeah, but I guess we'll see. I mean, that's what makes them why managers earn their paycheck, because now you got it's a completely different ball game. It's completely different than the regular season, because now it's do or die. Number one, but two, you got to get the right matchups. How does this guy pitch against? How does he pitch against the Cubs? How has he done in the past? How has he done at Wrigley Field? Is the wind blowing in? Is the wind blowing out? Of course, you never know till that day what's going to happen. So it'll be fun. I mean, it'll be interesting but fun.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking at the Cubs and their starters right now. I think it's Matthew Boyd. Lefty. He's pitched decent against us, and they got a couple of kids there. Porter Hodge and Cade Horton, and then of course Emananga. They got Brad Keller from the Pirates. So it's not the strongest Colin Ray. It's not the strongest.
But Brad Keller had our number when he pitched against us this year. So and we beat him, but
well, it depends on the hitters. Hopefully, for us, it'll at least we're in the playoffs, or hopefully we're in the playoffs, and that's all. We got to face somebody. So you don't get to go in and find an easy team. I think Padre fans would admit last year we got really, really lucky. We played an Atlanta Braves game that was just so banged up that we just went right through them. And that doesn't happen very often. I mean, they were missing pretty much everybody, Kuda, Chris Sale, and,
Riley, third baseman.
They were pretty much a shell of themselves at that time. So,
but again, can the Padres get going? Sure.
Well, like I said, let's get hot.
I think
take care of business in Chicago, because this is kind of like the Colorado thing. It's like, I'll still say win the series, you're good. But 3-game sweep against the lowly White Sox would be appropriate.
That would be perfect, because it would pretty much clinch you getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, because they're the equivalent of our Washington Nationals as far as their record. They're 57-96,
which is better than last year.
Yeah, they're in a 6-game losing streak coming in. So.
No, that's bad news for the Padres. We usually stay.
Now, having said that, though, they actually do score a decent amount of runs. They're a little bit behind the Padres, over the season. But let's hope they've given up 100 more runs than the Padres. So let's just hope that we catch them, at the right time as far as the pitching. I know that the starters out right now are guys that I've never heard of. I'll be honest with you. Martin, Gomez, and Burke. And I don't know who any of those guys are. Because the next series against the Brewers, unfortunately, the Brewers are still going to be probably chugging along, because they're looking for that 1 seed, and they're only 2 games in front of the Phillies right now. And right now they're slated to 3 of their best starters. They got Woodruff, Priester, and Mizorowski. That could be a tough series for us. It really could be a tough series. So.
Well, maybe we'll have it wrapped up before then.
I'd like to see us at least get to the 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I really don't want to go into that final series. I mean,
especially because the Diamondbacks have been playing damn good ball.
Yeah. Well, and they're still actually in it. I mean, right now.
If I was a Diamondbacks fan, I'd be ticked off that you got rid of
away our best player.
Yeah, Naylor and Kelly and Suarez. I mean, they have those 3 guys.
Yeah, they may be where we're at.
I mean, we might be fighting for the final spot.
It's always hard, though, because we said at the time, when you're that team that's sitting there and you go, okay, but we'd have to go on a pretty hot streak, and other guys have to do just right. Well, that's kind of what happened. They haven't been like blazing hot, but
Well, compare
who knew?
Who compared to the Padres and Dodgers, they have been.
Who knew at the trading deadline that pretty much all 6 playoff teams, as it sits right now, went through some pretty bad times. I think Milwaukee didn't go as much, but the Phillies had a bad stretch. The Dodgers, the Padres, of course, had a bad stretch. The Cubs had a bad stretch.
Yeah,
So
and the Mets lost 8 in a row.
Yeah, disgusting until they got to play the Padres. So
yeah.
It seems like we're the cure for all ills.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, hopefully, I still think the key to the offense is Bogarts, because he was having especially the last 3 months, he started out slow.
Yeah.
But when he got going, it just extended the lineup. Now having to move, I think Cronenworth has done really well at shortstop. He's played.
Yeah, everybody's played admirably filling in for other guys and all that kind of stuff. And again, this has been kind of, to me, the calling card of this team all year. Not everybody's cold. It just seems to be, we only seem to be able to get about 3 guys to get hot at the same time, and the other 6 are either lukewarm or cold. And like I said, lately, our top 3 have looked really good. I mean, Tatis and Rise, like I quoted earlier, are in the almost 400 getting on base. Manny's obviously mashing. And then it's just kind of like, okay, a little spotty Merrill, a little spotty Cronenworth, but all of a sudden O'Hearn can't find his way, and Laureano kind of lost the power surge that he was on for a while, which again, quite honestly, to be expected. He was kind of up here compared to his back of his baseball card.
Yeah,
so you kind of
career high in home runs
this happen sooner or later. Yeah, he's already broken his career record for home runs in a season. So, but yeah, one good peak would be great.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go to Chicago, get the bats going. Like I said, sweep them. Maybe the Mets lose 3 in a row. Boom.
Yeah,
it's there, and then you can go. Okay, we want to play well against Milwaukee, but we don't have to win.
Right.
It's just like, okay, we'll just kind of coast, and again, and then we go to the Diamondbacks. You go, okay, none of our starting pitching is pitching. Like you said, you have, like you said, Sears or Vasquez, or you have a bullpen game where you have just Peralta and Matsui and Hart. And Hart, I'll give Hart some credit. He's looked pretty good in the bullpen.
Well, I think I think they're probably kind of learning some stuff. Having him in the bullpen, maybe that's his future. Maybe he's just somebody can come out of the bullpen. Not everybody's meant to be a starter. So
well, because a starter you have to pace yourself.
I think a lot of that's going to be the consideration for who's on the playoff roster too.
Right.
If they get to the playoffs, we've had about 16, 17 pitchers up here this year. Now, who's the best? 13 or 12 or whatever the number they're going to carry to get there. Offense is the same way. Are we going to change anything? I don't know if we have any latitude on changing the offense, to be honest with you. But yeah, God, really, is McCoy really? I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I think it's going to be Bryce Johnson, who's kind of earned his way on there as a defensive fast guy. Of course, you're going to have Diaz as the backup catcher. Iglesias ain't going anywhere. And then you, of course, got O'Hearn is either an extra or playing in the field, and somebody else is coming in. So I think offensively they're pretty set. I don't expect any big surprises there.
No, but like I said, the bullpen, who we going with, the starters. I just figure the way Schilt treats Vasquez, I don't think he's going to be on the roster. I don't think he has any confidence in him. I mean, he may have to.
And I know he's had some rough times, but man, you look at what the guy gives you, and it ain't pretty. Because I'll be honest, I'm biting my fingernails constantly with the guy, but. You know what? You look at the total package of what he's done this year, and you go, I think he's doing all right. In fact, I'm bringing up his numbers now, Jack, and let's Randy Vasquez has pitched 26 games, which he started 25. He's got 8 quality starts, so it's about a third, which is he's actually had more quality starts per game started than Dylan Cease.
I believe that, yes.
And so you look at it and you go, okay, well, his ERA is 3.94. Well, Dylan Cease is 4.59. I mean, his WAR is 2.3 compared to Dylan Cease's 1.1. I mean, you could argue that just except for their history, you could argue that he should be the guy that should be in there.
Yeah.
Now the problem is both him and Cease, and quite honestly, almost all of our pitchers, have a problem with the home run ball. I mean, that's really been to our detriment. We've given up a lot of home runs, 169 home runs.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I'm looking to see, and we have hit 140.
And those guys pitch at Petco.
Yeah. So we've given up 29 home runs, and we have. So yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are complaining about the Fermin trade. The Ryan Burgett, but yeah, I don't know if you saw he's
done for the year.
Yeah, and he's got an elbow issue. Hopefully, I hope it's not Tommy John.
Yeah,
but you couldn't. I mean, that was the one thing I think Preller. I think we talked about at the time. Like, these guys are young. Well, not Kolek is not. He's like 29, but still, he doesn't have a lot of. He hasn't started a lot the last few years, and so I think we weren't going to be able to use Burkett anyway.
Well, and I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. We've got our starting catcher for the next 4 years, and I know people are like, oh well, he's not that. You know what? He's better than pretty much anybody we've had except for Higgy, and Higgy was a complete surprise, especially with the power numbers.
And Higgy wasn't that great defensively.
No, he wasn't. And Fermin is excellent behind the plate, and so. Preller says you got to give up something good to get something good, and so. Yeah, and I'll say this about any GM and not just Preller, you can't hit on every trade. Nobody's batting 1,000. So, you look at the trade that he made for O'Hearn and Laureano, and I can guarantee if I would have pulled everybody at the time, O'Hearn was the jewel. Like, that's the guy. That's the guy.
I thought that too. I said, okay, Laureano's Grady.
Yeah, and then now it's 100% the other way. That it's Laureano was the guy, and not only that, we get to keep him for next year.
Yeah.
Whether or not Preller knew that and just kind of played that, like, well, we want O'Hearn, but throw in Laureano, we got a deal, kind of thing. So
how many home runs? How many home runs has he robbed?
Yeah. And those two guys are going to be with us for next year, and so I love both of those trades. Again, I don't want to get to next year before this one's done, but it did set us up for the future so that maybe we can go out and spend a little bit of money on some starting pitching, because probably going to lose Cease, and I don't know about King, but let's just assume what we do. We're down to Darvish, Musgrove, and Vasquez.
Pavetta.
I knew there was another one. Yeah. So we got 4, but we really need, and quite honestly, if you're really being realistic, I love Joe to come back and be what Joe is, and I hope he's got the whole off season to build up to that. So hopefully next year's just a good old regular year. But I think we still need a number one guy. I mean, like a true, seriously number one guy.
Or do you go for power?
Yeah.
Go for a Schwaber.
Well, I don't know if I want to. Anyway, we're getting it out off season.
Yeah. So. Anyway.
All right. So what are we going to do, Jack? Here we go. We got 3 against the White Sox and 3 against the Brewers before we.
I said 5-2 last week, right?
I think we both did. Yes, and they were 4-3. Yeah.
4-3, which is not terrible.
They won the 7-game series. So yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. 6 games, because they may not have to win against the Brewers, so I don't know. I'm gonna go 4-2.
All right.
I think we should sweep the. I just hope that. Excuse me. They seem to have one game where they come out flat.
Yeah, that's what I'm going 3-3 this week, and that's not a negative. That's actually, I'll take 3-3 because 3 wins now, with any help at all, probably puts us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm going 3-3, and my feeling is yes, they'll have one off game with Chicago. It seems to be a regular occurrence, and I think the Brewers are still going to be, a very strong team. But when we're playing them, whether or not we've clinched or not, they're going to be going at it. And I have this gut feel too that the Dodgers are going to.
Oz is going 3-3.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I got the feeling that I just have this gut feeling that the Dodgers are going to sweep their way in here in the next 4 or 5 games. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they stumble all over the place, but something tells me that they're just going to reel off about 3 or 4 wins in a row and just put this thing.
Well, they have the Giants. The Giants still have an outside chance. They hate the Dodgers. But they have 4 games. The Giants would have to win 3 of the 4, and we would have to sweep the White Sox for it to be okay. Now we're only 1 game, or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. When I was talking about, Jack, do the old 500 thing. If the Dodgers go and they have 9 games, or excuse me, they have 10 games left. So if they split those 10 games, go 5-5, we have to go 8-2 to beat them.
Well, more than that, because
actually
9-1.
9-1.
They have the
tiebreaker. We have 9 games left.
Okay,
so we'd have to go 8-1. Yes, 8-1.
Well, they have the tiebreaker.
Exactly. That's why I'm 8.
What are we 2.5 out right now?
Yeah, we have to beat them by 3.
Yeah.
So they're playing tonight. So if they play tonight and they win, they beat the Giants tonight. They got Yamamoto going against Webb. Actually, a pretty good game though.
Yeah. Well, Webb hasn't pitched that well the last couple of weeks.
Well, his last one was horrible, but yeah.
What I do like the Dodger bullpen though. I do love seeing them just because you had Ohtani with 5 no-hit innings, and then their bullpen came in. Dodger fans, man, they're just.
Well, I don't blame them. If that was my bullpen, I'd be upset too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the problem with the Dodgers, I mean, not just the Dodger fans, but everyone said, okay, well, they're just going to run away with the division. They'll have a cakewalk to the World Series, and they're
supposed to win 104 games this year.
Yeah, and they're right now. Can they win 90? Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, they're supposed to win 104 games. The other thing that we've got, one thing we do have going for us, and this is why I think they're going to nut up the next 4 games, because it's their last 4 games at home against San Francisco. After that, though, they go on the road and they play at Arizona and at Seattle. So,
wow,
I got to tell you, if it did happen to get to that final 3-game series and we're still, in it, and with only, and we're tied or something like that, I like our chances better than theirs.
Yeah,
because Seattle right now is going to be playing, unless something really weird happens, they're going to be playing hard.
They have to, because they're fighting Houston.
Exactly, and they got a big series against Houston this weekend. So yeah. All right, well, 3-3. It sounds like me and Oz are on the same page. I'm going to be optimistic and hope you're right, Jack. I know you very, very rarely are, but
Yeah, I've been wrong all season. I mean,
I'd be curious to know what Jay would say, because if you're 4-2 and I'm 3-3, we didn't leave him any room. So
Jay would go 2-4.
Because Jay always likes to go below me and you, man.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it should be a fun final 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
That's all I got, man.
All right.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Join us sometime this year.
And sorry, Jennifer, we didn't agree, but that's part of life. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree.
Appreciate the comments, though.
Yeah,
I llove the comments.
Yeah, it gets me thinking. Yeah. And Oz, I'm still disappointed you didn't go 6-0, but I guess I guess. Well, to be fair, in the last couple of weeks, I think Oz has been beaten down. I mean, the game, they've been so you get the herky jerky.
Yeah, we get a lot of ugs on Discord. Right here, I'm going to do this one for Oz. Here we go.
No dog in them. That's no dog.
No dog in them. All right, Jack.
All right, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next Thursday. Hopefully, we'll know by then where we're playing, who we're playing, and all that fun stuff. And maybe we're in first place.
Not. Maybe we're
first place
in the division.
Maybe we went 6-0 and the Dodgers go 0-6.
Yeah, we already have it wrapped up. So.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys.
All right, go Giants.
Yes, go Giants.
All right, man.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Bye.